a plane? Does he sleep in a plane? Oh, we'll put him on to him.
Is it one, like Air Force One or the rest? We haven't found yet.
Is it a Russian plane?
Yeah, it might be the blue plane.
Wait, is that? Oh, wait, I think that's the.
I'm driving.
Wait, where is it? Where is it? Yeah, has it land?
Official meeting tonight is 11:30. Yeah, but it's 11:30. You're right. So I think U.S. is touchdown at 10. Yeah. And 11.
Let it. Oh yeah, I did it. Let me zoom in a little bit. I found it. It landed. That's the Russian.
That's America.
Your head is over here. Oh, your head is.
That doesn't matter.
Oh, and
Pretty sure that's there.
mosquito. This is the photo. Oh yeah, that is a lovely car.
I'm pretty confident that's Air Force One.
I want to see the president. No, those trees are going to be great. Right by the light. Is it by the light mom?
You see there's planes lined up all down the left side of the runway, so it's going fast like the left side.
Oh. If I could see him come out here without even, that would be crazy.
Oh. Okay. I'm on my camera. I'll check it out. I thought he landed earlier. Oh, okay. Good enough. Alrighty. Well, I'll look for him. Oh, okay. Alrighty. I'll go back to the bay. Bye.
Really, 4 minutes.
Аляска 20-25 и пожать друг другу руки для фотографирования. В прямом эфире пытаемся мы все словить вот этот исторический момент и не мешать друг другу. Посмотрите, пожалуйста, вот там, покажу еще раз, делегация Соединенных Штатов Америки, мы видели там министра финансов, мы видели также там Марко Рубио, мы видели там Владимир Путин спускается по трапу самолета Ил-96, сбивает на Аляску, Соединенных Штатов Америки.
Навстречу ему идет Дональд Трамп. Сейчас мы показываем вам красно-коровую дорожку, которая медленно двигается в направлении журналистов, в направлении своего независимого направляется президента Соединенных Штатов Америки. Один из команды для пропаганды для исторических целей, которые заключали да, как построились которые держат на авиабазе флагами, форме, препаратами. Дональд Трамп стоит сейчас, он ждет
The leader of the United States, the leader of Russia, exchanging hands in hopes of finding peace in Ukraine.
President Putin, will you agree to a ceasefire?
Mr. President, what's your message to Vladimir Putin?
Mr. Putin, did you underestimate Ukraine? President Putin, will you stop killing civilians? President Putin, how can the U.S. trust your words?
Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Let's go. Let's go around the press. Come on, guys. Let's go. Come on, guys. Come on, guys.
We're still holding for a minute? Okay. The driver's here, so.
Where bar is that?
We'll have to come down. We'll stay up until the motorcade leaves. shot stays up for now.
Let me just hold on the line for a bit here. Yeah, you guys are gonna go. I just prefer to have guys that are. Wes, we'll take this one. What's that?
Transmission pool going to come down in 1 minute. 1 minute and we will come down. So pack up and then be ready to go, but leave the shop for 1 minute.
We can leave all our stuff out here, right? I'll cover it up in case it rains.
Yep, me. I'm 4 of us.
Sure, if you want to. Then you can pull the plug.
No, you get yours first. Get yours first. Guys are done. All the way
Can you make a deal today, sir? Just go up. Thank you very much.
Thank you, press. 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 Let's go. Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Let's go. Come on, guys.
Come on, guys. Let's go. Let's go.
Thank you, press.
Let's go.
Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Thank you, press.
Let's go. Let's go.
Thank you, press. 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 Thank you, press.
Everybody get out of the room!
Just came in. Caroline, Lutnick? Lutnick? She may have to give up on this one. He'll see you live.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States of America and the President of the Russian Federation.
Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, our negotiations have been held in a constructive atmosphere of mutual respect. We have very thorough negotiations that were quite useful. I would like to thank once again my American counterpart for the proposal to travel out here to Alaska. It only makes sense that we've met here, because our countries, though separated by the oceans, are close neighbors. So when we've met, when I came out of the plane and I've said, "Good afternoon, dear neighbor. Very good to see you. In good health and to see you alive." I think that is very neighborly. And I think that's some kind words that we can say to each other. We're separated by the Strait of Bering, though there are 2 islands only between the Russian island and the U.S. island. They're only 4 kilometers apart. We're close neighbors, and it's a fact. It's also important that Alaska has to do with our common heritage, common history between Russia and the U.S., and many positive events have to do with that territory. Still, there is tremendous cultural heritage back from the Russian America. For example, Orthodox churches, and a lot of more than 700 geographical names of Russian origin. During the Second World War, it was here in Alaska that was the origin of the legendary air bridge for the supply of military aircraft and other equipment under the Lend-Lease program. It was a dangerous and treacherous route over the vast emptiness of ice. However, the pilots of both countries did everything to bring closer the victory. They risked their lives and they gave it all for the common victory. I was just in the city of Magadan in Russia, and there is a memorial there dedicated to the Russian and the U.S. pilots. And there are two flags, the U.S. flag and the Russian flag. And I know that here as well there is such a memorial. There is a military burial place several kilometers away from here. The Soviet pilots that buried there who died during that dangerous mission. We're thankful to the citizens and the government of the U.S. for carefully taking care of their memory. I think that's very worthy and noble. We'll always remember other historical examples when our countries defeated common enemies together in the spirit of battle camaraderie and allyship that supported each other and facilitated each other. I'm sure that this heritage will help us rebuild and foster mutually beneficial and equal ties at this new stage, even during the hardest conditions. It is known that there have been no summits between Russia and the U.S. for 4 years, and that's a long time. This time was very hard for bilateral relations, and let's be frank, they've fallen to the lowest point since the Cold War. I think that's not benefiting our countries and the world as a whole. It is apparent that sooner or later, we had to amend the situation to move on from the confrontation to dialogue. And in this case, a personal meeting between the heads of state has been long overdue. Naturally, under the condition of serious and painstaking work, this work has been done in general. Me and President Trump have very good direct contact. We've spoken multiple times. We spoke frankly on the phone. And special envoy of the President, Mr. Woodruff, traveled out to Russia several times. Our advisors and heads of foreign ministries kept in touch all the time. And you know fully well that one of the central issues was the situation around Ukraine. We see the strive of the administration and President Trump personally to help facilitate the resolution of the Ukrainian conflict. And his strive to get to the crux of the matter, to understand its history, is precious. As I've said, the situation in Ukraine has to do with fundamental threats to our security. Moreover, we've always considered the Ukrainian nation, and I've said it multiple times, a brotherly nation, however strange it may sound in these conditions. We have the same roots, and everything that's happening is a tragedy for us, a terrible wound. Therefore, the country is sincerely interested in putting an end to it. At the same time, we're convinced that in order to make the settlement lasting and long-term, we need to eliminate all the primary roots, the primary causes of that conflict, and we've said it multiple times, to consider all legitimate concerns of Russia and to reinstate a just balance of security in Europe and in the world on the whole. And I agree with President Trump, as he has said today, that naturally the security of Ukraine should be ensured as well. Naturally, we are prepared to work on that. I would like to hope that the agreement that we've reached together will help us bring closer that goal and will pave the path towards peace in Ukraine. We expect that Kiev and European capitals will perceive that constructively and that they won't throw a wrench in the works. They will not make any attempts to use some backroom dealings or to conduct provocations to torpedo the nascent progress. Incidentally, when the new administration came to power, bilateral trade started to grow. It's still very symbolic. Still, we have a growth of 20%. As I've said, we have a lot of dimensions for joint work. It is clear that the US and Russian investment and business cooperation has tremendous potential. Russia and the US can offer each other so much in trade, digital, high-tech, and in space exploration. We see that Arctic cooperation is also very possible.
нашим
and
Дальним
our
Востоком и
international
американским
context,
западным
for example,
побережьем.
between the Far East
В
of
общем,
Russia and the west
нашим
coast of the
странам
US.
важно и
Overall,
нужно
it's very important
перелистнуть
for our
страницу
countries to
и
turn the
вернуться к
page, to
сотрудничеству.
go back to
Символично,
cooperation.
что
It is
неподалеку
symbolic
на
that not far
границе
away from
России и
here,
США,
the
как
border
я уже
between
говорил,
Russia and the
проходит
West,
так
there
называемая
is a
линия
so-called
перемены
international
дат,
date line.
где можно буквально перешагнуть
I think you can step
вчера в
over
завтра.
literally from yesterday into tomorrow.
Надеюсь, что у нас так и
And I
получится
hope that we'll succeed in
в
that.
политической сфере.
In
Я
political
хотел бы
sphere.
поблагодарить
I would
господина
like to
Трампа
thank
за
President
совместную
Trump
работу,
for our
за
joint work,
доброжелательный и доверительный
for the
тон беседы.
well-wishing and
Главное, что с
trustworthy
обеих
tone
сторон
of our
был настроен
conversation.
на
It's important that both
результат. Мы
sides
видим, что
are
президент США имеет
result-oriented, and we
четкое
see that the
представление о
President of
том,
the US
чего
has a very
хочет
clear
добиться,
idea of
искренне
what he would
заботится о
like to achieve.
процветании своей
He
страны
sincerely
и в то
cares
же
about
время
prosperity of his
проявляет
nation,
понимание наличию в России
still
своих
understands that
национальных интересов.
Russia has its own
Рассчитывает, что
national
сегодняшние
interests. I
договоренности
expect that
станут
today's
опорной
agreements
точкой
will
не
be
только для
the
решения
starting
украинской
point,
проблемы,
not
но
only
и
for the
положит
solution of
начало
the Ukrainian
восстановлению
issue,
деловых,
but also will help
прагматичных
us bring
отношений
back
между
business-like
Россией
and
и США.
pragmatic
Ну и
relations
в
between Russia
завершение
and the US.
хотел бы вот что
And in the
добавить.
end, I would like to
Я
add
помню,
one more
что в
thing. I'd like to
2022
remind you that
году
in
во время
2022,
последних контактов с
during the
прежней
last
администрацией я
contact
тогда
with the previous
пытался
administration,
убедить
I tried to
своего
convince
прежнего американского
my
коллегу в
previous
том, что
American colleague
не нужно доводить до
it
ситуации
the situation should not be
после наступления, которые могут наступить
brought to the
тяжелые последствия в виде
point of no
боевых
return
действий.
when it would come
И
to
прямо сказал
hostilities.
тогда,
And I
что
said
это
it quite
большая
directly
ошибка.
back then that it's a big
И
mistake.
вот сегодня мы слышим, когда президент Трамп
Today,
говорит,
when
что если бы
President
я
Trump
был
saying that
президентом, то войны
if he
бы
was
не
the
было.
president back then, there will be
Я
no
думаю,
war.
что так бы
And I'm
на самом деле
quite
и
sure that it would
случилось.
indeed be
Я
so.
подтверждаю
I
это,
can confirm that.
потому что в целом у
I
нас
think that
с
overall,
президентом Трампом
me and President
наладился
Trump
очень хороший
have built a very
деловой
good
и доверительный
business-like and
контакт.
trustworthy
И
contact.
у меня есть все основания
And I have
полагать, что
every
двигаясь
reason
по
to
этому
believe
пути,
that
мы
moving down
можем
this path,
дойти и до,
we can come,
чем быстрее, тем лучше,
and the sooner the
до
better,
завершения конфликта
to the
на
end of the
Украине.
conflict
Благодарю
in
вас
Ukraine.
за
Thank you.
внимание.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. President. That was very profound, and I will say that I believe we had a very productive meeting. There were many, many points that we agreed on, most of them, I would say, a couple of big ones that we haven't quite gotten there, but we've made some headway. So there's no deal until there's a deal. I will call up NATO in a little while. I will call up the various people that I think are appropriate, and I'll, of course, call up President Zelensky and tell him about today's meeting. It's ultimately up to them. They're going to have to agree with what Marco and Steve and some of the great people from the Trump administration who've come here, Scott and John Ratcliffe, thank you very much. But we have some of our really great leaders. They've been doing a phenomenal job. We also have some tremendous Russian business representatives here, and I think everybody wants to deal with us. We've become the hottest country anywhere in the world in a very short period of time, and we look forward to that. We look forward to dealing. We're going to try and get this over with. We really made some great progress today. I've always had a fantastic relationship with President Putin, with Vladimir. We had many tough meetings, good meetings. We were interfered with by the Russia hoax. It made it a little bit tougher to deal with, but he understood it. I think he's probably seen things like that during the course of his career. He's seen it all, but we had to put up with the Russia hoax. He knew it was a hoax, and I knew it was a hoax, but what was done was very criminal. But it made it harder for us to deal as a country in terms of the business and all of the things that we'd like to have dealt with. But we'll have a good chance when this is over. So just to put it very quickly, I'm going to start making a few phone calls and tell them what happened. But we had an extremely productive meeting, and many points were agreed to. There are just a very few that are left. Some are not that significant. One is probably the most significant, but we have a very good chance of getting there. We didn't get there, but we have a very good chance of getting there. I would like to thank President Putin and his entire team, whose faces, who I know in many cases, other than that, whose faces I get to see all the time in the newspapers. You're almost as famous as the boss, but especially this one right over here. But we had some good meetings over the years, right? Good, productive meetings over the years, and we hope to have that in the future. But let's do the most productive one right now. We're going to stop really 5, 6, 7,000, thousands of people a week from being killed, and President Putin wants to see that as much as I do. So, again, Mr. President, I'd like to thank you very much, and we'll speak to you very soon and probably see you again very soon. Thank you very much, Vladimir.
Next time in Moscow.
Oh, that's an interesting one. I don't know. I'll get a little heat on that one, but I could see it possibly happening. Thank you very much, Vladimir. And thank you all. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I had to buy this like
They had a U.S. and a Russian flag on the front of that one. Yeah. Those steps. We're driving down the jetway with that back door open and close that. But as soon as we get back, and they are rushing. As soon as we get back, yeah. Oh yeah. Not even. That just makes it all from the plane, right? They don't gotta go far to get out. So the squadron, the guys that were flying stealth bomber, right? They actually landed here. They landed there. Oh, really? And then they were out here while you guys were gone. They were out here talking to the Secret Service while you were gone. They took them on a tour of Air Force One. But they, my own plane, what cooler than theirs? Well, they landed. I guess they have to get a certain amount of hours of flight time, so they had another crew fly it back. I think they're lined up to go that way. That's how they flew. That's how they landed. Right. They have to go out and over, right? It's just like, you got the guy in the vest out there.
Tony, if the motorcade comes, switch your focus to the motorcade. What? Can you?
I'm keeping an eye on the forward. There's nothing on the forward.
No, I know, but so if we see the motorcade, flag him so he can switch. Next one is switch and give Air Force One. Motorcade 3 minutes out. I'm telling you what they want.
Are they doing play-by-play? What is this? I've never had this done before. Are you serious? Like,
Ah, yeah, okay. Yeah, yeah.
It almost looks like a bird bouncing.
What?
That feels like it's it in the air.
What do you mean?
Russian plane.
Yeah, that was.
It's doing a flyover. It's coming back. Look like you turning? Oh, you turning. Where's Russia? Where's Russia?
That's south. That's south. Yeah, that one. He turned pretty hard.
Yeah.
He might be going further north than Hanover. Might be going somewhere else. Tahiti. He's got to go get some sun after that.
The other one. Yeah.